have the chief whip of Uddhav Thackeray, Shiv Sena, who says that this is unconstitutional, what the Election Commission has done by granting the bow and arrow symbol to the Eknath Shinde camp. Says there are several constitutional points that have been overlooked. They've now reached out to the Supreme Court with a plea, and the plea asks to withhold, or rather impose a stay on the Election Commission's order until a plea decides, until a plea that connects with the discussion on disqualification of some of their MLAs is heard in the Supreme Court. Let me cut across to Mustafa joining us on the phone line, tracking those developments there in Mumbai. Mustafa, a quick word. We heard the chief whip of the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena camp speaking, and he's asserted that they will fight until they get their, until they have their rights on the bow and arrow symbol, which has now been granted to the Shinde Sena. Tell us a little more on what's the purpose of this top-level meet. We know that a plea has been filed in the Supreme Court. On the other hand, okay, we've lost Mustafa's connection there. We're going to try and patch him back. But here you see a key huddle there by the Uddhav Thackeray camp as they come together to discuss the future course of action. How are they going to really take this forward? It's a big blow for them at this point, as the Election Commission has really recognized Eknath Shinde and camp as the real Shiv Sena, notifying that the bow and arrow symbol will now belong to the Eknath Shinde camp. This comes as a massive blow to Uddhav Thackeray, who hoped that the wait for at least 6 months would really conclude in him gaining control of the bow and arrow symbol, which really speaks for a lot. It would mean that he and his camp, barely a handful of MLAs there, would be deemed as the real Shiv Sena, but that hasn't happened. The Election Commission has recognized that the Eknath Shinde camp has the majority of the strength. At least 76% of the electorate, those who won elections in the previous assembly polls, are all now with Eknath Shinde, and therefore, since he has the majority, he gets the bow and arrow symbol. Now, this fight has reached the top court, Supreme Court, to hear the matter, as a plea has been filed by the Uddhav Thackeray camp.